What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports NASCAR show. I'm your host, Travis Manone, back with my buddy Coop. We got PGA going on. We got NASCAR on a Thursday. Is it like National Coop Day or something? This is right up your alley, Coop. Is this like the best day ever or what?
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. You know, the only thing back is baseball's taken away from some of the NASCAR pot. You know, the contests aren't as juicy as they had been, but they're still on par with what they were at this time last year. So, you know, there's still solid money out there to be won. So, you know, midweek race, night race, hopefully it does well for NASCAR. And hopefully we can continue to see some of these next year on the schedule.
Yeah, Coop, I will say I love night racing. I always like it. So I was like torn on signing up, but I think I'm going to get in there. Of course, I'm doing the show with you. I'm getting all the sharp info. Why wouldn't I get in there? You know what I mean? It's going to be a great one.
Yep, things have been very good here recently. Last three races, we've had some takedowns. So looking to continue to fire tonight.
Yeah, well, listen, let's keep that momentum and let's dive right in. So Coop, we're in Kansas, right? Tell us about the track. Tell us about the night racing. What are we going to be looking for with the track preview? Because you did an article on it, so you probably got all the info for us.
It's a mile and a half, like the last couple races. The biggest difference between this race and the last couple races is you're going to see a lot more passing. Track position isn't nearly as critical as what the last two races have been. And then the other piece too is, you know, it being at night, you know, the grip's going to be there. It's going to help. But, you know, we've seen Kansas races where we've had few cautions and then we've had several cautions. So it's kind of unpredictable how it's going to go. So, you know, I think you got to, you know, eat some of the chalk and then be different in other places too. And then the other piece too is tire wear is more important this week than what it's been the last couple weeks. It's not up in the range of, let's say, a Darlington, Miami, Atlanta. But, you know, this track is starting to get older and it's getting some wear and tear on it. And the tires do make much more of a impact than what we've seen the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. When you say that, Coop, listen, I'm not the NASCAR expert you are, but you got me thinking Keselowski and Hamlin, right? I think those are two pretty good tire guys, but we'll dive in and we'll talk about it when we get there for sure. You'll give us all the scoop and info. Let's dive in though and talk at the top here. You know, we got Kevin Harvick on the pole and we know how good Kevin Harvick can be. He's had a really great car this year. I'm sure he's going to be pretty high owned and, you know, going to be able to get those dominator points. We got Logano too, and we'll put Almirola in the mix. So for those three, how are you approaching it on this slate, Coop?
Well, you know, Harvick obviously is the one that sticks out. You know, he's been, like you said, very dominant on mile and a half tracks. He's been good here. But what sticks out in my mind is the last couple of weeks, he hasn't been, you know, dominant, so to say. You know, he's been really good. But he's been beatable and he doesn't nearly have the speed that he's had at these other mile and a half tracks that we saw earlier. So, you know, is there something going on? Was it, you know, we know he hasn't been good at Kentucky in the past. But you know, like what's happening? Is it the tires, you know, that's affecting them? Is it the heat is affecting them? So, you know, something just isn't clicking right to, you know, make them like the best, so to say. He's still a very, very good play being out front. He should lead early. And the other piece against them is we got that competition caution, which is another opportunity for him to be shooken up and taken, you know, down to third, fourth, fifth, whatever. But, you know, I'm definitely going to have some Kevin Harvick. I might not be as high on him as what others may be and what it appears it could be, you know, being out front. So my biggest worry with Harvick is what happens if he loses the lead. Can he get back up there? And, you know, how far does he fall? if he does lose the lead. So I think if you're playing Harvick, you need to bank on him, leading a good 60, 70 laps some way, somehow, because I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes in the latter half of the top 10. It's just a gut reason, maybe. I don't know. But I'm not, sold on him, being the driver I want to build my teams around. So that leads us to Amarola, who I feel, he could overtake Harvick quite easily. Amarola's been hot, and he's had a very, very fast car the last several weeks. So, I like Amarola. I think he's a good GPP play. His price has gone up. He needs to get up there, lead some laps, and/or get some fastest laps in order to pay off. But I think he's pretty safe for a finish between third and sixth. So if he can get those extra points, I think it's good. And he's not going to be as popular as what he's been the last couple weeks because of the price. He is going to be popular, but not nearly as much. Then that leaves us with Logano on the outside. I really like the drivers in the top five, minus Logano. I can't play them all, and you got to pick and choose. And Logano's the one that's drawing the short straw for me this week. He was good last week, and I think that plus his price is going to draw some people back in, and I think he could be a good fade or underweight play because this track isn't one of his best, and he struggled up until last week. So, was last week a fluke and he really is back? Or, is that fade the right way to go? And I'm going to fade on the latter and hope that he struggles.
All right, here's one question I have, Coop, when looking at this. Obviously, I'm a roll, 8-7. If he ends up, being your dominator, that could be great. That could be awesome. But in cash games, here's my question for you. Is Kevin Harvick a guy you have to be playing? How would you approach that in cash games? Are you still not interested then? Figured I would ask that question for the cash game guys out there.
He's one of the two drivers that I would focus on. We haven't got to the second one yet. But I think he is a solid cash play. He does have, he has downside and he has a lot of upside. So, he's safe to that extent. I don't think he's going to, lose a lot of points from place differential. It's just a matter of how many dominator points he can accumulate. So I'm pretty sure he'll be a popular cash play. But, there's somebody else I like better, so to say.
Okay, well, when we get to it, we'll obviously talk about that one for sure. Any final thoughts here on this range, Coop? You want to go on to the next set of drivers?
No, I'm good. We can go.
All right, let's head over to the next one. I want to talk about Ryan Blaney. Man, he had a rocket the other day. He was so fast, and I was on with the Sports Keg guys, and I was talking with them. They're actually going to be live, on the Run Pure Bets Sports channel that we have. I know I got sports and bets. I'm putting them together and calling them sports, but the Run Pure Bets channel. If you guys check that out, head on over, subscribe over there. They're going to be there sweating the race, right? You can sweat from the DFS side. You can sweat from the betting side. They'll give out picks before the race, so you can put some bets in, and they'll live bet do some picks as well. Last week, it wasn't the best for them. They only lost a little bit of units, but on the week, I think they ended up being up 0.5 units. So overall, it wasn't bad, but they took Ryan Blaney, and he was just so fast. I had him on like most of my NASCAR team, so he did me pretty well, Coop. Is Ryan Blaney the guy that's going to compete against Kevin Harvick here?
Yeah, I like Ryan Blaney tonight. He's just had a lot of bad luck. His car has been so good this year, he just hasn't been able to finish it off. Whether it's been an accident or somebody else's accident, like last week that hurt him. So, you can't ignore Blaney. The price did go up on him, which should keep, his ownership moderate to maybe a little bit higher. But I don't think it's going to be, the Uber chalk that we've seen last week. So, definitely like Blaney. I like pairing him with Harvick. I like, Amarola and him. And I expect him to stay up front and contend for several dominator points.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that makes a ton of sense there. I should have mentioned all the other guys in the range. I just got so obsessed with Blaney because again, he's
That's
just
all
so
right.
good. And yeah, it made me think of, oh, that's the guy. At first, I was thinking, oh, it might be Truex. I was trying to think maybe it's Hamlin, but Blaney. Once I read it, I was like, yeah, Blaney's definitely the guy Coop's talking about, and I'm sure I'll have some Blaney. Then we got Truex, we got Alex Bowman, Keselowski, and we'll put Kyle Busch in that group as well. So Truex, Bowman, Keselowski, Kyle Busch. I know you're a guy who hasn't been playing a ton of Kyle. Are we fading him, and how are we approaching the rest of these guys?
Yeah, I will stay on the fade to Kyle Busch bandwagon. He was better last week, but he wasn't the Kyle Busch that we expect and have seen over the last couple of years. I don't know if he has the speed still to compete with the top drivers, and there's 5 or 6 drivers in front of him that have been faster than him all year, and then there's a couple behind him that have been faster than him all year. So I think that with what he did last week, more people are going to jump back on him. Plus the price, and I think he's going to be fairly popular. And I think it's going to make 2 other players or drivers that we haven't gotten to, better plays. So I'll stay off of Kyle Busch. You mentioned Keselowski, and he's a tough one to figure out. He never rarely gets up there and dominates. He's all about strategy, and he ends up being there at the end. So I could very easily see him, finishing where he starts. I could also see him, finishing second, third, or fourth, which isn't going to get him, the value because his price is decent. I think he's a very good GPP play, but I will, not be playing him because I like 2 guys starting behind him better. Alex Bowman is a very good low-owned GPP play. And if you're into narratives, we talked about the tires a little bit earlier. These are tires that they ran on the left-hand side of the car earlier from Charlotte. And he was extremely, extremely good at Charlotte. The right sides are what we've seen the last couple weeks. So it's not completely like Charlotte, but there's that piece if you want to look at it. He's been very bad here recently. That's why I'm staying off of him. I think there's just too many faster cars up front to compete for him. So I'm off of him, but he's going to be very low owned because of that starting position and his recent struggles. And then the last driver is Truex, and Truex is the one I want to build around tonight. I think that the last 2 weeks he's had the best car. Unfortunately, other people have created issues for him, not allowing him to finish where he should be. And Truex is the most dominant mile-and-a-half driver over the last couple of years. Not as dominant this year, but he's been sneaky good. And he's very, very good when the sun goes down. And I prefer him over Harvick. You get a little bit of price savings. I think the ownership's going to be lower on him than what it is on Harvick. And I think, Truex has the better car the last couple weeks than what Harvick has. So I'm going to put my money on Martin Truex tonight and build my teams around him and put him with some Blaney, put him with some Amarola, and put him with some Harvick and then a couple other drivers we're going to mention here shortly. But I expect big things out of Truex tonight, and I feel more comfortable playing him in cash than Harvick. I think you can play both if you really want to look at it, or you can play Blaney with Truex. But Truex is the one that I'm building everything around for me tonight.
Yeah, it is a $900 difference. So yeah, I'm
Mhm.
curious to see what that $900 can do for you. And you spoke about the sun going down. Last time the sun went down, Alex Bowman, he stole my heart, Coop, and then he ripped it out in
Oh,
that one race.
yeah,
So I just have
he ripped a
flashbacks to
lot
that
of
night.
hearts. Yeah, he
That
had
was a
ripped a
that was a
lot of
fun
hearts in that
race.
race. Hmm.
Oh, So we'll have to see. I don't know if he's got a fast night car, but I'll definitely be watching that. If I see that car zoom in, I'll either be cheering because I played a lot or didn't. But there's a lot of good drivers today for sure.
Right.
Let's dive into the next
Right.
range because this one's tough. We got Kurt Busch, we got Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Matt DiBenedetto, and we'll put Chris Buescher in here as well. The 9 through 13 starting spots here. What are you doing here? I'm guessing Chase the Kid and Denny Hamlin are your two favorites.
Yeah, you would be right there, and I think that Kyle Busch is going to take some ownership from them. Chase Elliott has a steep price, and Hamlin's not far behind him. So, Elliott's been great all year, and you can't take anything away from him. He's just had a hard time finishing races. So he could very easily have 3-4 wins at this time. But I can't stop playing Chase. I think he's going to be, lower owned because a lot of people are going to go with Truex. A lot of people are going to go with Harvick, and he makes for a very good GPP play. And then Hamlin. We talked the last couple of weeks about Hamlin not being that great on mile-and-a-half tracks this year, which is true. But the ones that he's been the best on are ones that require more tire management, as you spoke of earlier in the show. And that's why I like Hamlin. And, I think, the last couple of weeks he's disappointed. The price is still fairly high for him. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing his ownership go back down to where it was earlier this year when he was over 10K, which was, in the 12 to 15% range. And I think he makes for a great GPP play too. And then we have DiBenedetto, who I really, really like. I really like him on FanDuel even more than DraftKings because of the finishing position being so impactful over on FanDuel. But he's had perhaps the fastest car the last couple of weeks. He's up there with the leaders. And when he finishes, the results have been good. But he's been caught up in a couple unfortunate accidents, which has hurt his results. I think he's going to be a little higher owned this week than what he has been the last couple weeks because people might be catching on. Plus, the price is a little bit cheaper. But I definitely like some DiBenedetto. And, the thing like last week, he went from, the starting position of, I think, 11th. And he was in that top 7, 8, 5 fairly quickly. So I'll definitely be back on DiBenedetto. Buescher, again, great GPP play. He's going to be very low owned. I don't think I can pull the trigger on him this week like last week because there's just so many better drivers who are starting farther behind, who are very good on these tracks that have tire wear management. Buescher, he was strong last week, but he got caught up in some bad, unfortunate luck too. So, I'll be off of him. I like a couple other drivers better than him. And, that's what I'm looking at for Buescher.
Yep. I think that range, you summed it up pretty well, man. A lot of good drivers there in that range. I know the ones that I'll definitely be looking at for sure. Like I said, Hamlin and Elliott are two I'm definitely looking at. And I think that's one reason why at the top, some of the guys may not be as appealing that we talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
You obviously can't play every single driver. Coop,
no,
so.
you can't play every single one because you got to look, there's fewer laps this week than what we had last week. So there's going to be less dominator points. And, realistically, you're going to have two drivers dominate for the most part, whether it be 100 laps they get and 70 laps they get. And then a third who probably leads around 40 at most, maybe 50. And, if you play too many of them drivers, you're going to, have some of them that are going to lose for you. That's why I try to pick, the 3 or 4, 5 at most, who I feel have that potential and put my money in that basket with them.
Coop, one last thing I'll ask you before we kind of get to the next range. What about the pit crews, right? Any pit crews we got that we want to look at that have a good, situation based on where they're, placed?
Well, we haven't got to Austin Dillon yet, but he's got that first pit row, being the winner last week. So that's going to be a huge advantage for him. But I'll look at that and get back to you in chat. I haven't looked at the where everybody's starting to see who might be around each other and who has clear space in front of them.
No worries. Well, listen, you gave
Yeah,
Dylan away, but Coop, yeah, we'll do that in
yeah,
Discord chat, right? We got our premium
yeah,
Discord chat. You can
yeah.
post that in there and tell the people that
One
information.
one other thing too. I don't think it's going to play out this way, but if you want to be a contrarian lineup starter and start with one dominator, I think the choice would be Truex over Harvick. Most people would probably start that lineup with Harvick, but I think Truex is the one to look at when that goes down. Because the other piece I like about Truex too is he's starting farther forward than what he has in most of these most recent races. He's been starting, ninth, 10th, 11th in that range where he's up there in fifth. So he has a shot to get up there rather quickly. He would be the one. I wouldn't make very many, if any, but just something to throw out there if you're interested in a one dominator.
All right. If you guys could, you're watching this video, please hit that like, hit that subscribe on the channel. We just hit over, 1,000 subscribers. So that's absolutely
Woohoo.
awesome. Yeah, we're super excited about that. So thanks a lot for doing that, guys. Hit the like. It helps us out a ton. We can keep creating some awesome NASCAR videos, MLB, all the sports, right? And we're going to have it all at once here. It's going to be an awesome time. Let's dive in and talk about this next range. We got Matt Kenseth, we got William Byron, Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace, and Ryan Newman. Well, actually, let's add Clint Boyer in there as well. So we'll go from the 14 to the 19 range. And your buddy you just talked about, Austin Dillon, with the good pit spot. He's someone I'm sure you're going to be targeting a little bit because he's someone I know you've been riding here and he's done good for you.
Yeah, I've been riding him, but and DFS, there's always a time. You want to try to find that right time to jump on people, which I think we have with Austin Dillon, and then you want to find that right time to jump off of drivers too. And I'll be honest with you, it's going to come down to the ownership for Austin Dillon for me, because if he's going to continue to be 25, 30% owned, I'm probably going to either be well underweight or pass on him altogether. I hit last week that, I like him better when he starts farther back in the high teens to low 20s because, he is very solid at getting top 20 results with the occasional top 10. And then, even, the more occasional win. But, I could see him finishing 16th. The one thing that I mentioned, he does have that pit stall, so that should help him be able to stay, in that teens position again. I don't know. It all comes down to ownership for me because I want to jump off, as quickly as I jumped on because again, it is Austin Dillon. And how many times can he do great on these mile and a half tracks without having one hiccup here or there? So that's my thought on Dillon. Back up to Kenseth. I have no interest in Kenseth. I said last week, he's been horrible on mile and a half tracks this year. He luck boxed into a solid finish last week. Didn't have a great car, and he's starting just too far forward. Even with the price decrease, I don't have the interest in Kenseth. Same way with Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace has had speed on these mile and a half tracks, but the ones that require tire management, he's not very good at that aspect of managing the car right now. And he gets up there and he quickly falls back because of the tire wear that he puts on him. So there's too many good drivers starting 19th to 24th, and I see more downside in Bubba this week. Boyer, solid GPP pick. Another driver who struggled on mile and a half tracks. His ownership wasn't that great last week, and I think he's a good GPP play. Pivot off of the drivers we haven't got to who are starting behind him. And I won't have a lot. I want to be around field ownership on him because he's a boomer buster. And, like I said, this is big races for Boyer. This is his home track. So he wants to do very well there. And then also, he's got a contract coming up. And, I don't know if he's going to be back with Stewart-Haas because I can easily see them putting Briscoe in his ride. So the pressure is on him from that aspect. Fortunately for him, he's a great guy in the booth. Everybody loves Clint Boyer. He's a very funny guy. So I'd love to sit down and talk to him and Michael Waltrip for like an hour. Man, those two would have you cracking up like crazy. But not to get off base. But anyways, drivers that I like in this range. It's a broken record, but I'm going to go back to Byron. The guy is due, and nobody's going to play him. The results are bad. Um, you know, he doesn't have his crew chief this week, and that's because of maternity leave for his crew chief. Nothing that they part ways or anything like that. And sometimes, when you have those things happen, it's a good thing. People look at it as a negative thing, kind of like a caddy in golf. You don't have your caddy. So people look at it, negatively. I'm kind of turning around and looking at it positively because things can't get any worse than what they've got for Byron. He has bad luck every week. And the one thing that he has have every week is a very fast car. And I'm going to keep banking on it. And I really like, especially on FanDuel, putting DiBenedetto with Byron. I think, the upside for both of them, getting strong finishes matched with their price not being too much really makes it contrarian, and it also allows you to spend more on upside drivers. So I like the two of them together.
Yeah, Coop, another guy, that's typically a strong finish guy here is Ryan Newman. He typically has a guy that can get up there. Is he a guy that could get to that spot this time? Obviously in the 18 spot, there's a little more wiggle room than has been in the past. He's been in the 14 spot recently, 13. So I was curious what you're thinking.
Yeah, he has more upside, like you said, than what he has in the past couple of weeks. The price is up also on him versus what it's been the last couple of weeks. I don't mind taking some shots on Ryan Newman. But Ryan Newman's going to finish 14th to 18th. And then, like I said, the drivers behind him are better. So, he's a risky, should be relatively moderately owned at most GPP play. We haven't gotten down to the value town drivers yet. And, they're weak this week, so to say. So, I don't mind a couple shots at Newman here or there.
All right, let's get over to the next range. We got, Jimmy Johnson. He has been a stone disaster. He was the worst last week for me. I'm still tilted about him. We got Eric Jones, who, I love me some Eric Jones, Coop. Christopher Bell, who, why is he in this range? He's normally in the 30 range. So that's a surprise to see him there. Tyler Reddick, your boy Cole Custer, and Ricky Stenhouse. So that's the range we got here. 5 solid drivers or so to talk about here. What are you thinking about this range?
Yeah, just so everybody's clear, they're setting these lineups based upon random draws, and it's based upon owner points. And Christopher Bell was in the last section always for owner points. So, somehow he kept drawing, 33rd through 34th through 36th, somewhere in that ballpark. With his recent good results, he's moved up to the next level. So he's going to be starting anywhere from 12th to 24th. Fortunately for him, he drew one that's good fantasy wise. So he does have some upside. He doesn't, have, great history, so to say, on these, tracks that require tire management. So I would just be cautious on him. I'm definitely going to have some of them, but, not crazy. The guy that I will have a lot of is our boy Tyler Reddick. We played him every week on 1.5 tracks, and I'm not going to stop playing him. For whatever reason, he should be, priced well above, I guess, Draftkings metrics, algorithms, whatever you want to look at it. When they price these people, really don't, take into track, specific tracks or lengths or whatever. Because if they did, he should probably be closer to 9K. He's gained positions in every one of these 1.5 tracks where he's finished and not had an accident. So he's very comfortable, and he should be even more comfortable this week than what he's been the last couple of weeks, because he can go back to running the high side, because you're going to see more drivers on the high side tonight than what you've seen in the last couple of weeks. So I definitely will have plenty of Reddick. I want to at least match the field ownership, if not be over on him. He just hasn't let us down yet. And then the two drivers that are probably the pivots off of the last two we spoke to, or you can play them with them, which I think will be a little bit more contrarian. And I like playing the two of these drivers together strictly because of their price, would be Jimmy Johnson and Eric Jones. They're boomer busts, and they're going to be either really good or really bad. I can see both of them finishing in the top 8 and paying off. I can see both of them finishing, 30th or worse and getting caught up in an accident or blowing tire or doing something. Johnson should be the lower owned of the two, but people are going to be in for a sticker shock on Eric Jones, because it wasn't too long ago when DraftKings continually priced him at 6.5K, and now he's all the way up to 9K. So I expect the ownership to be low on both of them. And Jones has done well over his career on these tracks that require tires to be managed. So I'll have some interest in both of them too. And then the last guy that you brought up was your boy, Ricky Stenhouse.
I don't know if he's my boy, but I do like talking about him probably too much.
Yeah.
So are there accidents here, Coop? Can we play him? Because I think he's not a bad play, right? I think he could be in play.
Yeah, there are accidents here. There's accidents at every track. But like I said, we've seen races here where there's been 4 or 5 cautions, and then we've seen races here where there's been 10 or 12 cautions. So it's unpredictable as to what it'll be. And they have a spring race that's in the night and a fall race that's during the day, and it's fallen in both of those categories. So it's not one or the other that tends to have more or less. So like I said, it's just unpredictable. But back to Ricky. Ricky fell out of that top 24 places in owner points. So now he is in the bottom pool. So you're kind of fortunate, man, going to where, he drew the 25th, which was the best place he could have drawn, for him, versus the best place that he could have drawn for us was 36th. What would he be done if he was starting 36th?
I mean, he'd probably be my lineup, and I'd just be sitting there praying. But instead, now I get to at least make a decision.
Yeah, but the thing that I like about Ricky is he's been fast on these mile-and-a-half tracks, and the ones that he's been better at have been the ones where tires do matter. So I'm definitely going to have some Stenhouse, but I do think he's going to be a little bit more popular than what he normally is. Usually you grab him for 8 to 12%. I think he might be in 15 to 17% range. Still, a good play. It's just a matter of how willing are you to go with him. I know earlier in the year at the Charlotte race when he was really good, I went in 65% on Ricky Stenhouse, and that was very nerve wracking. And I don't know if I can go in that high again this week. But I might not be less than, let's say, 30, no more than 40, somewhere in that ballpark.
All right, Coop. Let's talk about this next range of drivers here, because again,
hold on, man, we forgot my boy.
Who's your boy? Oh, Cole Custer. We forgot. Yeah. So what about Cole? Shame. Yeah. What about Cole?
I think Cole's going to be some chalk this week. He's got a good starting position, 24th, and he's still priced fairly. And I think people are going to choose Cole Custer over Ricky Stenhouse. They start right next to each other, even though Cole Custer's $300 more because of his results. And then everybody just wants to stay away from Ricky because he's a wreck waiting to happen. But I want to probably be around even on the field to Cole Custer. In Xfinity, he did really well on these tracks. that require tire management. In NASCAR Cup Series so far, not so great. But I will say his confidence has to be much, much better here recently than what it was earlier this year when he was driving on these tracks requiring more tire management. So I don't think he's a bad play whatsoever. I just want to try to be more even on him because I could easily see him finishing 20th to 22nd.
All right, let's head on to the next set of drivers. And man, we might breeze through these ones quick, Coop, because there's not a ton of guys to love. But we got McDowell. Well, Smithley first, and then we got McDowell, who I think could be an interesting play. That's Mikey's boy. We got Brennan Poole, JJ Yelly, John Nemechek, who's definitely been a chalkier play as of late. People are kind of getting on him. And same with LaJoy. He's been gaining more ownership. So, and we'll also add in Quinn Huff there. So the 26 to 32, Coop, how are you approaching these guys?
Well, I think they're all going to be good pivots off of the two chalkier drivers in the value section that we haven't gotten to yet. So I think Nemechek will probably be the biggest pivot strictly because of his price. 6.8K. That's a lot. The starting position is very good. And, Hunter Nemechek's finished, 18th to 22nd in a lot of races. So I think he's safe, but I don't know if he's going to be able to give you, exactly what you need. But I think the ownership being low definitely has some of them. Corey LaJoy, I think last week they said he was going to be 40%, didn't come in quite that much, and he did well. The tracks to put him on are these 1.5 mile tracks because he does have enough speed to keep up with the cars, that are in his price range and starting range. So if you get some attrition, that also helps. The price being down, you would think on paper he would be a really chalky play, but he never really gets there. So again, I want to try to be even on him. And then McDowell, the price went down, but his starting position isn't as good fantasy wise as what it was last week. So he's going to have to get up to the top 20ish to pay off. And he continues to be highly owned. So I don't see myself being overweight on him. I see myself being more even to the field underweight, and definitely have some Michael McDowell.
All right, let's head on to the last range, and let's definitely talk about the two guys, right? I don't think you really want to be messing with, many of these drivers. The only ones I could see that are really playable, in my opinion, would be Priest, Dillon, and Suarez. Would that be correct here, Coop?
Yes, sir. That would be the three, and with two of them being the chalk. Ty Dillon, I was really surprised that the price didn't go up on him to over 7K strictly because of where he's starting. Ty is another one of them drivers who can, do well and finish in the top 20. And then he can kill you just as quickly and finish 32nd through 35th. So the price is still stout on him. That's why I said Hunter Nemechek is a good pivot off of him because they're right next to each other in price. So I'll definitely have some Ty Dillon. But again, I don't want to be overweight on him. I want to be more closer to the field. And then Priest, the price is way down. I'm really interested to see what the ownership is going to be on him because, I don't think the guy can finish in last place again. He's had like 3 or 4 consecutive races where he's finished dead last, and it's got to stop here sooner or later. So, I expect the ownership to be good on him. If not, I'll probably end up overweight because, the savings is good. It doesn't take much for him to hit value starting 35th. And then, Suarez. I added Suarez late because, I was looking at these drivers at 2:30 in the morning when I was doing the playbook, and I was like, man, there ain't much to choose from down here. And I don't want to find a position, place where I'm overweight extremely on all of these drivers. So I added Suarez, and looking at Suarez, he's not as bad. At the beginning of the year, his price was in the lower 7s to upper 6s, and it's come down to a reasonable playable amount now in the low 6s. And if you look at his results here recently, he would have paid off in 3 of the last 4 races. So I'll definitely have some Suarez, and he might be the actual driver that I'm a little overweight on. And in this range down here. And if we do see some attrition, it could help him out tremendously, and he could, luck box into a top 20. He's been solid, keeping his car clean and staying out there on the lead lap. So you got to give him his due, and I think the time now is to play him as the price makes it possible.
All right, Coop. I mean, I don't got anything else here. Do you want to just go three overweight, three underweight guys, and then we'll give our winners and get on out of here?
Yeah. The three underweight, obviously, the Bush brothers and Logano are the big ones for me. And then, possibly Austin Dillon, just depending upon where his ownership falls. So those are the ones where I'm looking to try to gain some edge. As far as overweight, definitely Truex, potentially Reddick, because of just how strong he has been on these mile-and-a-half tracks. And then Byron and Johnson, I'll easily be overweight to build on. I keep, burning some money on them. And, I'm not going to jump off that train because I know it's going to hit. And when it hits, it's going to be a very good day.
Yeah, listen, I like those calls. You guys, if you could, and you watch this video, if you had a good time hanging out with me and Coop, hit that like on the video, subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate that a ton. Also wanted to say, before we pick the winners, I want to say we have our MLB content is out there. I don't know if you guys are fans of the MLB, but, it's kicking off today. Coop said it before. It's taking a little shine off of the PGA and NASCAR for him. But, hey, PGA content is out. It's up on the site. We're offering $90 for all the way up till August 31st. But we also have a promo code going on right now. It's 20% off. So get the 20% off on the 90 and you get all sports, not just MLB, every single sport. We'll have basketball coming back, the CSGO, the League of Legends. I mean, all the things you can find, every single sport, NASCAR, MMA. So that's what we got going on over there. It's also $20 per week. If you just want to kind of get a taste and dive in and see how it is after the, for the first week, you can just pay $20 for the week. Check it out. And hopefully give you some winners. You have a good time. You love the Discord community and you come back for some more. How's that sound, Coop?
Oh, it sounds very good. And the thing I'm most excited about is, Mr. JT Hayes is going to be a big part of baseball. And if you follow the KBO league, he has torn it up. And he's taken down some nice GPPs over there. So I'm very, excited to see what he has to say.
Yeah, just to tell you how JT's KBO went. I saw the screenshots, but he said it last night when we were in the golf chat. He said, "Man, KBO went away too quick. I was trying to get a second house out of it." So that'll sum up how good of a time JT had with it, right? Yeah. So JT loved the KBO, knows his baseball, and excited to kind of dive into some of his content. We got Hoop doing content. I'll be doing content. Big T, a whole list of everyone. We got an all-star cast. So
Title Town will be on there, and he's been very hot here in MMA.
Yep. Yeah, I've known Title Town for a little while too now, and sharp dude knows his stuff. We got a ton of great guys there. So let's pick our winners now, Coop. Who's your guy that's going to win this race?
I'm putting my money on Martin Truex. He's due. He's had the best car the last couple of weeks. The results just haven't been there, and I think it all changes tonight. And I know you like a good narrative, but he'll be driving his blue Toyota owner's car, and that car has had a lot of very good success, especially at night.
All right. Well, I don't mind a good narrative. And I'll say you talked about a driver, that has had some bad luck and been a rocket. And I'm going to take Ryan Blaney, man. I can't deny him. He's been so fast. So give me Ryan Blaney. He's definitely a driver I'm a big fan of since the NASCAR started back up. But that'll about do it for us, guys.
I tell you what, it's going to pay off. You keep staying with Blaney. JSU keeps staying with Bowman. And I'm going to stay with Byron and Johnson. And it's all going to take us to the glory land one day.
It is. And listen, I'm going to be on Byron for sure. I love that call by you. I think that's a really good one. But we got to get out of here, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the NASCAR live show. Check out Coop's content. He's doing tons of stuff. He gives you the articles. He gives you the playbook, core plays. Make sure to check that out, guys. But we got to go. For me, Travis Mangone, and Coop, we're out of here.